Good afternoon, everybody. So, good news. Apparently, it just now works. I seem to have gotten the Stream Elements chatbot to work on both. Huh. I really got something working for once. That's always weird to see. Never been too great with the more fiddly parts of tech. That's not all, yo. I have noticed that, I've changed the chat overlay. And I have a new, overlay Madoodle. Which, yeah. I'm happy I managed to get all this working. Makes me feel a bit more professional. As professional as one can feel sometimes, you know? Hopefully having an animated background won't, stream background won't lag the hell out of the stream once we switch over to the game. But yeah. Oh. I should hide myself for a second so we can actually get a good look at this background. But yeah. This is what the background looks like in all its full glory. It's something I've been working on over the course of the past week. Yeah, I think it was the course of the past week, because I remember starting it like Saturday? Last Saturday? Either last Saturday or last Sunday. Because I keep complaining that I need a new stream background, so new stream background. I also finally got Stream Elements to work properly. Which, yeah. Hang on, I want to test something real quick. Can I trigger both of the, what's-its? The chatbot in both the chats from Prism Live Studio? Because I can see the combined chat, and anything I type there sort of pops up on both people's ends. So let us see if this will. Holy shit! It does. It actually does. That's actually pretty cool. I am actually amazed by that. Huh. Yeah, I wasn't expecting that to actually work, but I suppose if it's literally just putting what I type into Prism Live Studio into both the chats, it makes perfect sense that I can just use the commands to activate both sides of a chatbot. The stream element. You know what? I'm just gonna call it Stream Ellie. So I'm not having to say chatbot every 5 seconds or stream elements every 5 seconds. It's best of both worlds. Or some shit like that, I don't know. But yeah, your little spirit is getting a bit more professional looking. I say little bit. It's just me we're talking about. I am by no means really that much of a professional. Hell, I'm not even sure professional streamers even really exist, because have you seen some of the shenanigans we get up to? Anyway, I should think about start plopping the game in. Nice simple one for today, just to kinda break some new shit in a bit. So we're playing a bit of Monster Hunter. Good old favourite on the channel. And there was an update the other day, like on the Wednesday. They added in a bunch of stuff they brought forward that was originally going to be in Title Update 3. Speaking of which, we actually don't know anything about Title Update 3 other than the major endgame changes and that. Well, I say major, but it's just a higher level to temper of some of the tempered monsters we have already, which, yeah, was a bit of a disappointment in my eyes, but so yeah, we're just gonna be messing about, doing a bit of random grinding here and there. I've taken the bells off the wish list because with how agonizingly long it takes to actually gather Hunter Symbols free, we're gonna be here a while anyway. And I don't particularly want to prolong that. I can't seem to word particularly well today. But yeah. I still can't believe I actually managed to get the damn chatbot working. Managed to get StreamLE working. Oh yeah, you can like do your build surveys and kind of go from there. See what people are cooking. Any luck? I do need that gem. Yeah, I still need the gem from Jinterhad. Well, the only issue is with adding like 9-star quests. Is that, well, most people are having trouble with the 8-star ones. It definitely feels like Capcom are overcompensating, or overcorrecting the whole difficulty debate. I think part of the issue, at least for me, is that the other monsters don't get any real love. It's just Toeggio, well, the title update monsters, Raw, he's dead already. Okay, so out. Do the bubbles work like the healing mantle? Where you just get a massive burst of healing after a little bit? I definitely think they are tuning the difficulty. But I think a bigger issue I have is that they make it hard to get the lower difficulty ones, which people can do a bit easier for like grinding purposes. I think they should change it around a bit. Make the 8 and 9-star hunts a bit, well, investigations a bit rarer. That way, people can still grind tempers a bit easier. For people who are more just focused on grinding them. And so that the high difficulties are treated as a challenge. That's simple issue I would, well, simple thing I would do. And hell, another thing, I know I'm always comparing this game to Rise Sunbreak, but that's because Rise Sunbreak is one of, if not, my favourite Monster Hunter game. That's just a matter of fact. it does just seem incremental. But, yeah. I do think that Sunbreak just has a better endgame. Even though I didn't really engage with it too much, I think it did certain aspects that Wild is trying to do better. Like, for instance, the afflicted materials versus the hunter symbols. They allowed you to use whatever weapon you want by making sure you upgrade the weapon with the correct afflicted materials. Now I don't mind them sort of generalizing them into the hunter symbol system. It does make that bit a bit easier. There was a boulder right there. Alright then. Again, you can kind of see why I prefer... well... even doing the 7-star ones for grinding. They're much easier for a lobby to just manage. Ah, no. But if I made it a case of Seven Star is the common one. And they simply make it so the 8-star ones are the rarer but harder ones. And make the 9-star ones nice. Oh, and it lasts for 70. Oh, how fancy. Okay, so I'm definitely going for the Kunafa one. I like going for that one because having Divine Blessing and Defender Mill is overkill, yes, but what keeps me alive sometimes. Is more shit keeping you alive? It ain't like Genshin where the meta is just to kill the thing as quick as possible. You can't feasibly do that in Monster Hunter. So yeah, you have to actually invest a little bit in survivability or just learn how to dodge. But that's just kind of an ache of it.
See you again, Hunter.
How do I make it so it don't show the lobby ID? That would be nice. Huh. Okay. Now wait, there are other options. Okay. No. No, don't seem like it. Maybe it's something you have to toggle outside of lobbies and such. Yeah, you got these 9-star tempered hunts. Start doing some of these, like 9-star 5 diamond tempered grayed out and Arcveld. Fuck right off with that one, please. Again, for the more casual player, you're not going to be particularly interested in the ball-bustingly difficult one.
Of course. Come back anytime.
That's another weird thing here. Right, let me explain. In Rise, it's a case of you just had the missions that were available. You didn't have the investigation system. And you Hang on, I forgot to plug my laptop back in. You, God, I lost me trail of thought. Eh? Oh, what's happened here? Oh, you know what it is? Laptop decided to freak the F out because I plugged it in. So, give it a couple of minutes and it'll calm down a bit. There we go, back up to 30 FPS. Now it's calming down a bit. But, yeah. I do think they should have...
Everyone here has been doing well, Hunter.
Oh yeah, now I remember. In Rise, you just had the quests. Oh, the multiplayer quests, and that's it. You didn't have an investigation system until you hit the anomaly investigations, in which comprised Sunbreak's endgame content. And it essentially allowed all monsters to have their time in the sun. Whereas with the tempered ones, in this game, not only does it make it so... Not only do I think tempered monsters aren't as interesting as normally not afflicted monsters, because you had to hit particular parts until these special clumps of curio until they popped, and once you popped all of them, then the monster would be down. Or if you took too long, the monster would cause a giant ass explosion which did a fair bit of damage. And I find that more mechanically interesting than World's Tempered. Well, no. I found it way more interesting than World's Tempered version of it, which was literally just stat bumped.
I heard from the others.
And...
Yes. Somebody wants to make a trade. Would you like to trade something?
God damn it. And, well... And... Wales version?
Okay.
To be truth, it don't sound... Oh, it ain't that much better. I like the whole idea of there being wounds that just open up naturally over time, rather than purely via gameplay. Well, via actually attacking the monster, but the tier 3 monsters have the 8 and 9-star variants. I don't see them... Well, they're not nearly as rewarding on account of you know, the fucking drop rates for hunter symbols actually being atrocious. Like, with afflicted parts, you're getting like 3 or 4 pop. Here, you're lucky if you get 3. You're lucky if you get 2 sometimes per hunt. Considering how long some of these hunts are, like, no wonder everyone's going Artium weapons. Getting the final upgrades feels like a sodding bottleneck. So it feels very unfair to people who don't want to go full meta and full min-max. It's easier just to craft an Artium. But I like having different weapons and working to their strengths and weaknesses. Anna. It might just be me whinging and whining, but yeah. I do feel like some parts of Wilds are going to age pretty poorly. And another thing is, due to the way the hunter symbols are divided, people aren't going to be hunting stuff other than tier 3 half the time. Which means the other monsters don't get the time to shine. The Guardian monsters go completely shafted. Anna. I don't know if I am just nitpicking, but don't get me wrong. Don't mistake this as me just disliking Wilds. No, I really do. I think it's a really big step up from what we had with World, and fixed a lot of the issues I had with World. However, it's not only made certain ones worse, though that's primarily due to trying to get multiplayer working in the open world aspect of it. I wouldn't even call it open world, I'd just call it seamless. I don't mind there being challenging Monster Hunter. Like, cause not even for myself, like for other folks that do like a good challenging Monster Hunter. I think the 8 and 9 star stuff is great, but it does feel like they're just trying to force that onto everyone a bit. Just because they made the 7-star ones a lot rarer. I know. Tepid does feel more like they've just increased stats rather than made it mechanically interesting. That was way off. I know. See, this is why I kinda feel sad, because they could have done something interesting with a frenzy mechanic, but they didn't. It's just here for story context more than anything else. Like, they felt like they had to justify Fabius's inclusion in the game, or something like that. Or justify the Gormagala story. And yeah, I don't like it when games have to... Oh. I don't mind a story reason for a particular mechanic. Hell, I love it when they actually contextualize video game stuff. That's one thing I really like Destiny 2 for. Because it contextualizes... Oh, it gives story things some actual, well, gameplay quirks and that, some actual heft narratively. Only really in lore, but still it's something I really like, how they give a reason as to why you respawn, give a reason why you can't respawn in certain areas. Reason why how darkness zones work. It's literally just a sport where if your ghost does try to revive you, they're likely to die doing it, or die attempting it. Which would mean the final death of your god. Like smart things like that. I know. I like story stuff explaining why particular mechanic exists. But the mechanic shouldn't exist specifically to justify story beats. I know, it always... It's one of those things that kind of rubs me up the wrong way whenever I actually do that. Yeah, shock traps welcomed in that. You just can't capture it, which I wouldn't be surprised if that's what they literally just try to do. Uh-oh. Okay, I didn't get knocked back from that. That was weird. But yeah, I do think if they are going to have the high difficulty ones, either make them the rare ones, as opposed to making the 7-star ones for rarer tempered hunts. B, increase the amount of awards especially from those higher ones. I think they did right with the 9-star ones by having some new awards specifically locked behind those. I think that was a smart play for them. See, this is with, yeah. To put it in perspective, this is what I would have gotten normally. This is it with, Lucky Mill. And even then, I got really lucky here. So, yeah. And you'll wonder why I always prefer looking after meal. First, once it the unlock requirement for the 9-star monsters, Hunter rank 100. I'm never sure how to feel. I don't know. Actually, I don't mind that too much. The whole locking stuff behind HR. Because there's a fair chance you're going to have grinded up a fair bit by then. And yeah, I don't really have much issue with it. But there are certain... I'll pass to it. Mainly the hunter symbol. Like, I think what you saw in that hunt, where I ended up getting 4 of them, that should be on the upper echelons of normal. I think it should go from 1 to 3 to up to 2 to 4. I think that would be the easiest way to fix that. Make it so you get 2 guaranteed, and then an extra 1 and 2 on top of that. Even with Lucky Mill. Hell, I think it should work independent of the Lucky thing, if I'm completely honest. just so you don't end up getting 5 in one go. That's the way I would adjust it.
Should I begin?
Watch this.
Also, Zoshio high rank hunt, that should get hunter symbol freeze as well. Make it so the hardest content in the game, no matter what it is, gives hunter symbol freeze. Like Zelshia, tier 3 tempered. Tier 3 frenzied. Hell, that's actually another really missed opportunity. They only really have tempered for like 1, maybe 2 star monsters. Tier 1, 2 monsters. Which is a big disappointment in my opinion. It should have been a case of like I think what I would have done is, well, another way I would change this. Another way to change the systems, if I had the power to, make it so one side gives you Arceans, the other side, well, out of Frenzied and Tempered, one, make the Tempered more interesting. Like, put some anomaly investigation, well, afflicted monster spice into it. In the both of them, if I'm honest. Give the frenzied monsters a bit more HP, so rather than like being straight up half, it's like they have a 5th less HP, but they do, well, they have 10 or 20% less HP, maybe having it being randomized, and but they just hit like a truck. And maybe use the frenzy crystals to sort of use those in the same way you would hunters, well, would for Wildstone chunks. Okay, for the Gore set, I'd still think it's a good idea to have them as crafting materials there, because, you know, it's Gore. But I would have it so all monsters could be frenzied. Like how you can have tempered monsters of or tempered versions of all monsters except Zoshia. So I'd have frenzied of everything except except Zoshia and Gore. And maybe Argveld. There's many ways I would switch things about a bit. Let's see. Trying to think of what else.
Only one who can manage this quest, Hunter.
Oh shit. Did I remember to restock?
We received supply items.
Yes, I did.
Don't let them go to waste.
Good, good. But yeah, if you're gonna have arching weapons be the be all end all, or any game sort of grind one, I'd say don't overshadow, or make it so they don't quite overshadow the crafted options, like the weaponry options, as much as they do at that highest point. I would have it something like you need a really, well, your higher tier row Arceans in order to actually properly outshine a final upgrade for a weapon tree. But it's like an increase of 10% or something, which I think that would be a fair way to do it. Let's see. What else? Oh yeah, I'd also make it so Ridley Road ones are maybe slightly under. Like, maybe like it can be, well, slightly under or slightly above, so it's like, can be either 2% worse or 2% better. That way, people get a reasonably rolled one. They can essentially go, fuck it, and just kind of stick with it if they so wanted to. I think the layered weapons, reintroducing layered weapons was a smart choice, and solves the usual problems with Arcean weapons. It just doesn't solve the other issues with them. Again, this could just be me belly aching over nothing, which sometimes it is, but just flaws I've noticed quite substantial. I feel like Arcean overshadow final thing of crafted in too many ways. Like, even a decently rolled Arcean could probably overshadow some of the final tiers of weaponry weapons. They could do either bring the final crafted upgrades up a bit, so by like in a similar vein to the decently decent rolls on Artians, with decently rolled Artians hanging slightly above and slightly below them, make them actually easier, so that crafted weapons work as a good safe option. Like, you know what you're gonna get. Where that is relatively easy to make, but you can't really have it better than what is shown. There's no customizability with it. If I remember with Rise with the armor, you could actually add like use anomaly investigation, well, afflicted materials in order to add extra skills to it. I think that would have been a much better endgame. Why? Well, and Artians, if I'm honest. So, again, not to say Artian's a bad endgame system, endgame gear system. It's just a bit on the overtuned side for my liking. Yes, one could say, well, what about the relic system back all the way back in 4U? Honestly, it was a case of you could still get away with the final upgrades of your weapons. I never really got that far into E rank with 4 Ultimate to really form an opinion on that one. Still like that it does. But at the very least, the way they've done the layered weapons, it still gives you an actual reason to grind out those final upgrades for the ones you want. It's more of a band-aid fix than an actual proper fix. Apologies, I've been moaning so much about this one topic. It's just one that I'm particularly well, it's one I have a lot of thoughts on. Just plain and simple as that. Like, Wilds is really good, but it does have some serious flaws with some of its systems. Ones that could actually be ironed out fairly easily, so we're not massive flaws. Like, there's some stuff in Wilds that makes me prefer it over Rise. One, the support hunter system. One, the fact that they actually, you know, do any meaningful damage. Though I do think the followers in Sunbreak had more utility. There were essentially other Palicos that could do specific things really well, like how the twins actually work really well. Because Hinoa kills you, and you can even switch her from bow to hunting horn, which, yeah, an NPC wielding a hunting horn is a really strong thing. Let me tell you that much. And Minoto could essentially keep aggro. Which is a godsend sometimes. Especially because she won't essentially go down easy because of the fact that she was using the goddamn lance. As someone who's played a fair bit of lance, those things are like, you're fighting alongside it. Someone will be, well, those shields are built like brick shit houses. But the support hunters, they're essentially just AI-controlled hunters. They don't really specialize with anything, though they are really good at healing you and keeping you alive. And hell, there's even a good reasoning for bringing two of them. Just one support hunter with you, because you get to use your Palico. They've gone back to having it so you can only have your Palico with you if there's one or two actual hunters on a hunt. Whereas with Rise, you could have a Palico or Palamute with you at all times in multiplayer. Well, that's because you use your Palamute as a mount. No way, it wasn't the gem I needed, it was the horns. Ah, bollocks. I just had a brilliant idea. So, you know how, I said there's an issue with hunter symbols being kind of rare. Well, what if they give you an option at the Elder Melder to simply trade in a bunch of parts from tier 3 monsters for them? It wouldn't negate the need for hunting, because you would need a fair chunk of these parts. So it sort of would be... I would still make it so the tempered hunts are the best way to get them, but simply make it so it helps you to get enough of them for an upgrade in a timely manner. Right. Let me try and visualize what I mean.
Wow.
Right.
You sure got here fast.
No decoration. No, that's not it. Wyverian melding. Right? Basically, an interface like this, but rather than having it for decorations or Artium parts, you do it and it's for hunter symbols. And you trade in the parts of monsters of that particular tier. That way it gets you to hunt those if you want to get that final upgrade for it. And you could even make it so that final upgrades for tier 2 or 3 monsters use hunter symbols 1s and 2s if you want. And just make it so you can use... well, you get more 1s and 2s. Or make it so you can get any hunter symbol from any monster, but for each tier you're more likely to get 4 ones of that particular tier. Like tier 1s, you're like way more likely to get hunter symbol 1s. Tier 2, you're more likely to get hunter symbol 2s. And same with tier 3. Except with tier 1 and 2, you could have a small chance to get a 2 or 3. Oh. If you're doing a 1 or a 1, or a 3 from doing a 2. But you'd always get like 2 or 3 of the correct tier 1s. I know, I'm just spitballing all sorts of random shit at this idea. Because again, there are so many ways I feel like they could actually fix it. Or make it so that the 8 and 9 star tempered monsters give way more hunter symbols freeze.
Give it a try.
You know what I mean? Like, hell, we make it that we can turn these in for those. Really? It gives them another use. Especially because 6 of these bad boys equals 18 of those bad boys. Well, that does run the risk of making them too easy to get. So, I would say make it so they require quite a few melding points, because, again, to keep it so that you still want to primarily farm tempered monsters for it. feel like it just gives a more guaranteed way of getting hunter symbols to make those final upgrades easier. So it doesn't feel as pointless or monotonous. Or make it feel like the game's trying to insult you for actually engaging with the tempered system, other than for farming Artians. Video games shouldn't feel like they're insulting the player. Again, that could just be me being very... I hesitate to say harsh, but more critical of it.
Let's be on our way.
Especially cause Monster Hunter is a franchise I love. I would even go as far to say it's probably one of my favourite franchises ever. And I put it alongside stuff like Sonic or Mario in terms of some of my favourite franchises. Yeah. Anywho. How are you guys doing today anyway? So I've just kind of been yammering on a bit. It's just one of those things I just have serious amounts of opinions on. And ideas. It's one thing to say a system's not particularly great, or you don't agree with it. There's also nothing wrong with actually throwing your own ideas in the ring. Like, don't hate a thing just for hate. Whoa. Don't always hate something just for the sake of hating it. Because you might... Whoa. If you dig into it, you might find out why you hate something. Why you dislike it. Like, oh, it's the time of the stream where Cyber brings up his slight addiction. The fact that he got back into Genshin Impact a patch ago. Oh. Back in, June or July, whenever it was. I can't bloody remember. But some people didn't like the Natlan update cycle for various reasons. Either they didn't like how particular aspects of their culture were represented by Natlan. Or I didn't like the mechanics. Or just didn't like the fact that they went full anime with some of the expressions like People have a multitude of reasons to not like something. I always find it an interesting thought exercise to actually stop and go, okay, why don't I like this thing? Well, sometimes it is just simply a case of it just doesn't gel with you. And there's nothing wrong with that line of thinking either. I'm kind of simple-minded sometimes, so I can appreciate the simple thoughts. Oh. Some days. I just like doing little thought exercises like that, if I'm completely honest. When your brain is a bit overactive, I'm gonna turn the sound down. When your brain is as overactive as mine is sometimes, simply stuff like little thought exercises actually kind of help rein it in a little bit. It gives your brain something to do. Because Lord knows it needs it. Lord knows it bloody needs it. Ooh, paralysis. If anyone's wondering why I've just been randomly shouting out blasts of electricity every so often, I am using two-piece Legiacus, and that's where that whole thing comes from. It's the Azure Bolt skill from that set. Funny, now I think about that. I fixed my issue with Rise's armor build crafting. Only to cause issues, or only to introduce issues with me when it comes to weapons. Bullseye! Yeah. I kinda wish... yeah, I kinda wish though they make the 8 stars ones hit a little less hard. I think one shot should just kind of be reserved to the highest difficulty of hunts, don't you think? If at all. Or is that just me? Especially for like Rathos and Mizu. No, more Sledgeos actually. Like, I do have trouble with 8-star, or with Tempered Rathalos. No, Tempered Leviathan. I do think they need to make it so there's like higher levels for other tiers of tempered monsters. You know, it'd be funny if those could go up to 9-star. Imagine a 9-star difficulty Chupacabra. Now that would be a bit of a good bit of great dumb fun. You know, sometimes you do need something in a game that is just utterly ridiculous. Unless you do want to try and... Oh. Unless there's a narrative reason why you probably should. Like in Armored Core 6. I don't mind games that take itself seriously. But doesn't mean they have to take it seriously 100% of the time. Unless it fits the narrative to a T. Though sometimes people find their own dumb fun with games. Like, how many missions can I beat with my jumpy missile boy in AC6? Seriously, why is that setup so damn powerful for 90% missions? I still can't believe Cyberphnx Machina Titanic Scion is like actually coming out in the next couple of weeks. I fucking love the first one. Like, I would say that was my first proper mech game. Because my only other mech game I really played up to that point was the original Xenoblade X. And that's not really, like, an action-y mech game. It's more an RPG, but you can use them. Rather than your traditional action-y mech game. Though with Titanic Scion, they've gone with exosuit, turned arsenals into exosuits instead of full-on mechs. You still do have the full-on mechs, but they work more like a power-up rather than an actual mech. They're kind of just an extension of the exosuit, which, considering the exosuit plays like the Arsenal mechs did in the first game, I'm not opposed to it. Still don't quite know how to feel about it. And I can imagine that fact alone might actually turn some people off. And the fact that you can have your human bits show through the mech. Oh, show through the exosuit. Shit. I got up at the wrong time. But, yeah. I can honestly see how that turns, well, could turn some people off. But I don't think it will. Because, well, the first game had such good gameplay. And since this game is essentially that, except you're doing it as an exosuit rather than thing, well, the good news is that means we don't get the god-awful, like, outer gameplay. The not in the mech gameplay of the first game. Because, well, you always have that exosuit on. So, yeah, there's no reason to get out of said exosuit since you're wearing it. You know what I mean? Dang it. I knew it was coming. I was prepping the powder, but I wasn't fast enough.
I'm glad you're all right. Take a second to restock your supplies before heading out, okay?
And yeah, you guys can feel why I... yeah, you can get why I prefer doing the 7-star tempered ones if I can. For grinding purposes, they're easier to get through. So what I would have done...
We got this.
Have everything?
Maybe.
We received some items. Don't let them get
Oh,
away.
can't really think of any other ideas. But I haven't already outlined. There's one thing to... Whoa. Another thing. I don't think I ever fully played a particular game or... Oh. Fully, say this game has 0 flaws. Because there's no such thing as a perfect game. But I think it's also fine to criticize a game you really like. Like, if anything, that also shows that you care. You care so not much about it, you want it to be the best it can be, so you're aware of the flaws it has, and you think of ways said flaws could be improved. Like, with a lot of, with Xenoblade X or other turn-based RPGs I enjoy. They could be better by making them slightly less grindy. That chunk of ice was a bit delayed. Trying to think of what other games that I've really enjoyed, but I have a bit of an issue with. AC6, like, it can get a bit too grindy with some of the money sometimes. Especially cause... Oh. Yeah, it can be a bit too grindy with... the money, cause you... because the game wants you to make builds specifically to deal with specific situations. Genshin. It's a gacha game, so it wants you to constantly have new characters on that. And that sort of thing. But it also has story and that it wants you to do as well. So my issues there are we don't have enough primos. Oh, it's a bit stingy on them. So that's so that we don't, and that makes it so we don't pull as often, but with gacha games that's a bit of a, they don't care too much about that issue, on account of the whole point of it, of being stingy, is so that you spend real money on it. Yeah. Gacha games are no different to stuff like casinos in that regard. They're literally just there to get you to part with your money in just about any way, shape or form. But that's kind of also the free-to-play model a little bit. Because they want you to part with your money. You know? No. And back up his arse. Don't love getting into a Jindarad's ass on a Friday evening. With a hot, pointy stick. And yes, I said it like that on purpose. Uh-oh. Bugger. No, but hit. And another one. Oh, it's going up this little... Come on. And down you go. Death. So, you all got plans for this weekend? I honestly don't. I don't really plan out my weekends. Other than just chill, game, and do some pixel art. The next thing on the agenda in terms of the 5.0 stream overlay stuff is either the end screen or the transition, I think. Or I can actually make a proper start on 5.0 model. Because I have the eyes sorted out, but that's about it. I only got one out of that. Again, I could have crafted Artium sword out for Wazoo at this point. Oh. I say that. Do I have the parts to make a good blast SNS?
Come on over, Lou. The ancient tech.
Blast. Disc. Oh shit, I actually do. Huh. And yeah, I could do two, Did I do all 3 attack infusions or 2 attack and 1 affinity infusion? That way I get a nice, good 10% affinity before reroll. Yeah.
Can I proceed?
Okay. Do I have stuff to reinforce this bad boy with? No, not really. Oh, that's the Mizutsune cannon. The Mizutsune heavy bowgun. I didn't realize just how... That helps. I didn't realize just how similar it actually looks to the Teostra one. No, it looks similar to the Teostra... light bowgun. The heavy bowgun is different altogether. I get the feeling it wants to... It... Talk about a tempering desserts and a bargain sale. Like, holy shit. Might be worth taking one for the road. No, wait, one of them fucked. No, two of them fucked off. I'll say that one. I only really ever plan to use I only really plan to use Artians to fill in gaps for in weapon types, but I don't like the option.
Wow, we sure got here
And I
fast.
just realized I made an Artian for one that I do have the option for, cause you have the Ajaricon one. I don't really care for that one too much. I don't mind it, but I don't love it either. Okay. Great.
Catch the latest news here. I've got something.
Let us
Don't be shy now.
note up some
Bet you can make use of that.
ores. Some aurora sites. No, or calcites, I should say. Where's my really beefy mats? Jesus, how many Blagongas were... Was I trying to achieve a Blagonga extinction event? Jesus. Damn, I had a lot of those. Luckily, the metric shite ton of Jinder had go and holy shit, I have 82 Lagaicra scale pluses. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna have much issue. Melt armor spheres. Right. I can actually make 1.5 of those bad boys with all those. Those are worth 1,000?
See ya.
Alright, let's see what we get out of this, bastard.
Hey. Alright, let's see what we can come up with.
Yeah, I said I only use it to fill in gaps, but again,
Ready to get to work?
I I don't have one of these yet. What's for rolls? Attack boost. Free affinity boosts and sharpness. Huh. Not the most useful, but I can make it work. This one you dismantle.
What we can come up with.
Oh, you do get the aurora sight back.
Look good?
Okay. I did not realize that.
All right, let's see what we can.
Well, that just means I can make another one and see. Oh, this time I am gonna go full.
Look good?
Who doesn't love a little ancient technology? Ready to get to work?
Attack on it. What was it? I didn't see. Element, sharpness, affinity. That's more like it, actually. Still not the most powerful thing in the world, but I'm going to get quite a few blasts out of this bad
Come back
boy.
anytime.
How does it actually stack up to, like, 4 Jargon?
Yep.
Out of
Got something in
rabid
mind?
curiosity.
Shavar.
That one's... Okay, so it's... Wait, seriously? I could have actually have upgraded it? Well, that's disappointing. It would have ended up similar. So really I just made an joke on a high tier, well, an joke on SNS with 10 less raw and 10 more elements. But way better sharpness, if I'm honest. What am I gonna do? And I can plop offensive guard into it anyway. Yeah. Yeah, it's not really much of an improvement, is it? Again, that's the thing with art in weapons. They might actually turn out worse or about the same as a fully upgraded one, as a fully upgraded tree weapon. That is why I use it as a slot filler rather than a full-on replacement. Well, this is just marginally better than the Angelican one. Or something. But I'm not really looking for direct upgrades, unfortunately. Especially because, well, I can upgrade the Angelican weapon to max, apparently.
Got something in mind?
Oh. Or it wouldn't take that much to do so. But I am out of Hunter Symbol 2s. Oh, that does mean... I'm actually trying to think if it's any better. Honestly, no, not really. Like... Oh. Stat-wise it is. But... it's not really any different stat spread. At least it's a bit better than the Gravios one in my opinion. No, with the Gravios one, I could make that work because it has 2 level 3 slots. And it has guard up, so I could literally put in and... See what I mean? Like, Artian isn't always way forward. I'm finding this out the hard way. Well, finding my own lesson out the hard way. Cause... yeah.
Okay, let's crack a few ancient mysteries.
So yeah, unless you really...
Anything catch your eye?
Wait, that is a good one. I'd need to see how much I wouldn't have offensive guard, but that's not the end of the world. That's... but guard up. That's not the most useful skin in the world. Well, it is literally a case of you do have to fix all the issues with it. Well, it's even without Artian, you didn't. I lost it. And yeah, sharpness ain't really an issue. Yeah. Again, learned the hard way that I should only really use Artians if, well, as a fill rather than a replacement. Like in an instance like this, I wouldn't use a paralysis thing. Paralysis Artian, cause I can just go with a lot of breeding option, which shit, that's a lot of white sharpness. That's not half bad. Like 0 affinity, 230 attack, 225 poison? That's really good. But I would prefer those higher values on a blast weapon. So if that blast Artian had actually just been a metric shite ton of element, I would have been really happy with that. I would have actually kept it, because it would have given me quite a bit of blast to bugger about with. Speaking of decos, do I have any, like, blast ones? Yes, I do have one that gives me level 3 in blast, which could be slotted in to there. They can make the final weaponry ones better than irons. Oh. Huh. I'm starting to feel like my points earlier about Artians seemingly taking over meta a bit. Like, they're always going to take over meta, but it seems like they're not that far ahead of crafted weapons anyway. It's just that they're a bit more versatile, cause where they don't have any innate skills, they have 3 level 3 slots. And that's where their power actually comes from. Their versatility. But I would rather work around that in terms of the actual see what I can do with the crafted weapons. Huh. I look like a right plonker now, don't I? Guess the problem really isn't as bad as I thought it would be. I really don't see any need why you'd want handicraft level 5 in this game. Like, I don't know.
Fits you to a T.
That is interesting. I was not expecting that outcome. So, TLDR. Artians likely aren't as good as well, you really need a god tier Artian role to actually beat out the final crafted ones. It's just that those final upgrades in a weapon tree need to hold on the amount of hunter symbols they need, or make it so we get more of the bloody things. And again, I don't really mind as much with a heavy bow gun. Oh, let's actually look at heavy bow guns. That's
Hey,
another good point in comparison.
got something in mind?
I would need one with like Pierce level 2 for a good comparison. Steel Assault. That's got full textured shot. And is there any with like good affinity? Cause one I Artian I have has 30% affinity, which is kinda nuts. Venezuela has 3 in Pierce. And yeah, that might be a bit better on paper, because 3 in Pierce, 15% affinity, offensive guard 2 and guard 1, not that useful. Yeah. Huh. Guess I was worried over nothing with our in weapons. Why does this one have freeze ammo though? It's the gore one. Why does it have freeze ammo? At level 2, might I add. And oh damn. Yeah, flaming 2, thunder 2. Oh, that's because it's got the elemental boost magazine on it. Cool. That one's wild looking. I wonder if light guns have better element on them. That's got water and freeze 2. That's got flaming and thunder 2. That's just got an elemental boost magazine. Yeah, like
See you later.
you do need a hell of a roll on an Artian to actually get some serious clout out of it. I do very much stand corrected. Well, I'm happy that I'm wrong. And that this shit is actually more balanced than I gave it credit for. But though from what I hear, the Gold Roll Artians are so far, well, so much more powerful than crafted options. People would probably still say go for the crafted option. But hey ho, that's just kind of how it is. Anywho, we're going to go back to the chat. We're gonna pop back over to here for a little bit and just have a relax for 5 minutes and kind of review our research notes. Raw stat wise, you need to have a bit of a god tier roll Artian to really make it worth it, which I think is lines up to where I think Artian should be. But I do think that god roll Artians on paper apparently way more powerful than the crafted options. But since it would have been, well, since it's more min-maxed rolls, like your perfect rolled artifacts in Genshin, then it doesn't paint it as that bad. So yeah. And that's why sometimes it's best to hold off on thinking about something too much until you've really seen it in action. Or don't be afraid to have to eat a slice of humble pie if it already caters to those particular, if it already has solved those particular issues. I do think like the god tier Artians are a bit overtuned, but in that way I'm kinda like, if you go that crazy for an Artian and min-max it to that degree, you kinda deserve it. You kinda deserve the monumental stat bump from it, if I'm honest. Because you put the time and effort to really grind out at it, now I think about it. Oh yeah, definitely changing my tune on that one. Archons don't seem as broken as ridiculous of an increase for even a moderate roll as I thought it was. It's just simply a case of I really wasn't, well, you only see like the god tier row rather than your reasonable rolls. Which, yeah, pulls you a show off your best rolls. That's what gets people interested. They see this roll that's like the best roll imaginable, nothing can beat it. Gets people in the door of your video. But, yeah. But, it is sometimes. You end up being wrong about something. Just don't be afraid to be wrong about something. Or have your opinions changed on something. It's just kind of a thing with opinions. Sometimes you form them before you really get to know a thing. Jumping conclusions is... well, it's not really a healthy thing, but... but we all do it. We all make mistakes after all. We're not perfect. Not even little old me behind the screen is perfect. Not even the disgusting fleshy creature behind this pixelated spirit is perfect. Especially not the disgusting fleshy thing behind this pixelated spirit. But, well, I'm not actually that disgusting. I just can't take care of my physical appearance to save my life. And all that. But, that happens. And again, there's nothing wrong with... Oh. I don't think there's really anything wrong with expressing one's opinion, as long as you're civil about it. Don't just go, oh, it's shit, no one should play it, yeah. Go. Instead go, it's just not for me. Or, not something that floats me boat. People will understand that. They'll understand, dude, I'm praising it so no one should ever be happy playing it just for views and shit. No one will take you seriously. In fact, people will full-blown start an argument with you. Especially other people that express their opinions like that. It's not so much expressing your opinion or your thoughts, it's how you go about it. And it's bad to be civil with it. Plus, when criticizing something, sometimes, well, don't be afraid to give some constructive criticism. There's a difference between, ew, it's shit, no one should play it, and it wasn't for me, cause this system felt a bit wonky. Or this felt not great to... This item didn't feel particularly great to use. I know them. Just doing the post-game chat. So, how you been today? Oh yeah, I finally got the Stream Elements chatbot to work. Was lurking for the past 30 minutes. Yeah. But I'm guessing you heard my little spiel about how I was very wrong about the arting weapons in Monster Hunter. Turns out that they are more balanced than I gave them credit for. Again, I will fully admit I was wrong on that one. Not a bad thing to do. Admit that you're wrong sometimes. Hell, that's why on the gaming trivia shorts, if someone adds or corrects something in the comments, I don't get aggy at them or anything like that. In fact, I quite openly welcome it as long as they're civil about it. Because, well, at the end of the day, at the end of the day, those shorts are there to spread out some of my gaming knowledge. And if folks can add to that, or help correct inconsistencies with it, all power to them. Like, again, whilst being civil about it. That's a major point I'm hammering home here. Make sure you're civil about that sort of thing, otherwise they're more than likely to ignore you. or they'll just tell you to shut up. That's just how the world works. Bit of kindness bit of politeness kinda goes a long way. And such. Not that there isn't a time to let loose double barrels, but those times are very few and far between. I don't know. But it's best not to get upset about anything on the internet anyway. There's no real point, and there's no real point in that, and there's better things you could put that energy towards. Don't bottle up your emotions or thoughts and feelings, but don't use them to attack people either. Why does half these post games Atsus end up with me, if you say so? Yeah. Why do half these post games Atsus end up with me throwing some random pearls of wisdom around? However dim they probably are. I don't know. Sometimes I just end up throwing my thoughts around sometimes a bit too much on here. But, that's what happens when I get talking about a particular subject for too long. I end up throwing all sorts of thoughts at it. Guess that's something I could improve on. Because, at the end of the day, we all have stuff. We have to work on personally. Like, me with my social skills. And articulating myself properly so I don't end up tripping over my words every 5 minutes. And also sometimes being a bit more careful with my words, because again, sometimes my brain can run away from me a little bit when I do have these sort of more thought-provoking conversations, and that can lead me to saying all kinds of random shit. As content creators, instruction unclear, arguing with random people on the internet. Yeah, exactly. Like, what I'm trying to say is, you can express your opinions on that. Just don't do it aggressively. Don't attack people for that. Just cause their one is, well, their opinions are different. It's what I'm trying to get across, but apparently fucking it up a bit. Sorry about that. But yeah. This is why I try to think my thoughts through a bit before actually speaking. Because I really don't like getting the wrong idea across. So yeah, sorry about that. Let me articulate my thoughts about that. Basically, yeah, you can share your criticism of a game or something on the internet, but don't be aggressive about it, and don't attack other people if their opinion differs from yours. And don't start arguments on the internet for the sake of it. That's what I was trying to get across. Well, very badly. Again, sorry about that. Seems like I still have a fair way to go in terms of articulating my thoughts. Was that any clearer? Banter, who's gonna banter with me? Oh, there's nothing wrong with banter. As long as it doesn't... devolve into an argument. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with a bit of banter. Just... well... make it so that it don't escalate into a full-blown argument. Because, well, neither side kind of wants that. Yeah. Isn't it pretty much the same? Guess so. I'm not sure. I think it's cause you banter and arguments as two separate things. Like, I see banter as just having a nice little chat with, someone about something. Argument is, well, where you're just yelling your feelings at each other. Your aggressive feelings at each other about a particular subject. In a more explosive way. That half the time just results in uncomfortable screaming matches. Yeah, sometimes I do have trouble. Sometimes I either have trouble differentiating between two different things, social-wise, or I differentiate too much between two different things. Or the ADHD kicks in and I miss half the conversation entirely. Yeah, that's another issue I end up facing sometimes. Before I even, sometimes I've had plenty of times where I've articulated my thoughts enough to form a cohesive opinion about something. But by the time I do, the group of people I was talking to are already 3 conversation topics later. Really, I thought banter was more of trying to piss each other off. Otherwise, it's just boring discussion. Huh. Well, I've always seen the word banter as synonymous with just talking. But that could just be a British thing. Because honestly, we have about 3 different bits of slang for one. Well, we have 3, but sometimes we have 3 different bits of slang for one topic. For one sentence. Or word. Roll the definition? What actually is the definition of a banner? Like, you've actually got me really curious now. Have I been using it for long the entire time? Banter thing. Give it a sec, the internet on my phone's been a bit weird. Banter. The playful and friendly exchange of teasing remarks. Or exchange remarks in a good-humoured teasing way. Okay. So, in a way, banter's actually kind of in the middle of both what we thought it was. Like, it's teasing, but in a playful and friendly way. Here's an example in the way I use it. The men bantered with the waitresses. If, like, used as a verb. Interesting. Well, you know what they say, you'll learn something new every day. I did not mean for that to rhyme. But, yeah. I'm not English native speaker. So this is what I pick up from international use. Ah, fair enough. Like, the English language is fucking weird. That's all I'm saying on that one. It gets very confusing. Especially if you go into the slang side of it, especially British slang. But again, like I said, we have 3 different synonyms for one bloody, well, 3 different slang synonyms for one bloody word. Yeah. I never thought about that when it comes to me slang. But it does maybe show up as differently to people from different cultures. Huh. I'll make sure to keep an eye on that, actually. So, to rephrase what I was saying earlier, it's good to have a nice chat with someone, but, well, chat with someone expressing your opinions over a topic. It's a bloody pickle, ain't it, mate? Yes, it bloody is. So, ironically, that's one bit of British accent-iness I barely use. I barely actually use in it. So, part of that is where I actually try to articulate myself a bit. In it is one of those things I purposely try to articulate properly. So, it very rarely, well, probably ends up as in it more times than I think. Because a lot of things happen more times than I think. More often than I think. Yeah, I don't really go out much. I'm a bit of a Billy No Mates. That one means that I don't really keep into contact with mates and that. Or don't really have mates in the first, don't really have friends in the first place. Yeah. Mate's another synonym we use for friend. Makes me wonder if there's any English slang dictionaries out there. More than likely. More than likely. Yes, I am looking up if that's an actual thing. One thing that has popped up that I still can't believe that they're doing. By somehow turning Vampire Survivors into a bloody board game. Like, how the hell does that work? Oh, it's so many British on YouTube, so for me they all conglomerate. I have trouble with that word. Conglomerate into one modern British English. Yeah, that's a bit of a bastard to get your tongue of a word to get your tongue around. Conglomerate. Really doesn't help with my accent. But, yeah. Fair enough on that one. They do just kind of merge together sometimes. Unless you have one of those really extremely noticeable accents or dialects. Well, a Dalek dialect would be exterminate. Sorry, that just came out of my brain. I don't even watch Doctor Who nowadays. But yeah, British accents and dialects are weird. Like, and now I'm looking up how many of those we actually have. How many accents in the UK? Oh. Oh, wow. Okay. Oh, we have a few of them. I know there's so many British slang regional accents and dialects that one Brit to another speak a bit differently. Yeah. It's so many that it seems like the internet can't come to an actual consensus of on an exact number. But that's fair enough. You know what one would confuse just about anyone? Cockney rhyming slang. And it's exactly what you think it is. Now, I don't, in people different social class speak in their own way. Oh yeah, that's why you have your stereotypical working class accent and your stereotypical middle class accents. Really? The posh sounding one. It should be incredibly evident by now, I do not have that one. But, yeah. I know Cockney, and I find it kinda cool. Oh yes, some of them are really sodding clever. Like, the most obvious example being apple and pears. Pears. Like, we get clever with the language over here, for better or for worse. I have no idea what your accent or dialect is. And I'm not telling you, that's the fun part. You have to guess it. For me, it could even be Welsh. I am definitely not Welsh. I can tell you that one right now. I am definitely not Welsh. I am very much an Englishman. Or English spirit, I should say. Yeah. Hey, I'm obviously not gonna say where my accent and dialogue is, cause for safety reasons and shite. But yeah. I also won't deny that I have one. Are you from home? Nah. Like I said, I'm not saying for doxing and safety reasons. So, yeah. Don't bother guessing, because I'm going to deny all of them, just, again, for safety reasons. I don't want my accent to dox me just yet. Or at all, if I'm honest. I just name funny places. Yeah, we do have some interesting names. I can't think of any off the top of my head, but we have some interesting names for places. Then again, I suppose everywhere has interesting names for places. You know what I mean? Slough. Yeah, we do have some weird names for cities in this country. We also have a distinct lack of poisonous animals. Like, how many actually poisonous animals do we have in this country? How many poison... animals are there in the UK? Honestly, we only have only one that's really notable in terms of venomous species, and that's an adder. Which really feels like it was named with accents in mind. But yeah, that is literally the only venomous snake we have in this country. Hell, I think it's one of the few snakes we have in this country, period. Can't remember who would get slow worms in this country. Yes, slow worms are technically snakes. Despite the name. No. Wait, us? Hang on. I'm gonna good use how Google the stream. What are... Oh... One slow one is... Oh, we actually... What about Shady Fish and Chip Stall? Isn't it poisonous? You could say the same of shady food place, restaurants in any country. And, fish and chips places aren't that bad. Plus, fish and chip stalls aren't that common. Fish and chip shops, which feels intentionally named to trip up people with accents. Yeah, fairly common. And if animals bite, they are venomous, not poisonous. You know what I mean. That then. Okay, yeah, we do have slow worms in the UK. Just not in Northern Ireland. Oh. I should really stop using the AI over you and actually look at the actual website. Oh, but I'll say except for Northern Ireland, some Scottish Islands, and some of the Channel Islands. Huh. Also, I thought we had them in this country. Oh, by the way, we have slow worms in the UK, apparently. So... I don't think you would see them in, like, cities or anything like that. Not to my knowledge, at least. Again, I don't really go outside that much. Just for, like, a 20-minute walk, and that's about it. Half the time. Yeah. We do have... we probably have a shite ton of poisonous mushrooms, though. But, I'm putting Google away for today. I'm putting Google away for one stream. Speaking of streams... schedule. Okay. Might wrap up in a sec, so I'm gonna go over the schedule quick. Today we did Monster Hunter because honestly I just fancied Monster Hunter today. And to do a bit of grinding. And because we were able to do that today, tomorrow we is going to continue our replay through of Sonic X Shadow Generation. Which would include the classic, and I think in terms of main story-wise, we got up to getting all the keys to get into the classic era boss fight. So we'll be starting up with that and just go from and clearing as much of the adventure era stuff afterwards. And yeah, that's the schedule. So, yeah. And of course, I will be going extensively into Sonic's game, well, Sonic's history, because well, Sonic X Shadow Generation just gives me a fair amount to cover with a fine, well, this time with a very fine tooth comb. My brain had to figure out why it was called a fine tooth comb for a second. It's because the actual bristles on those are called teeth. My brain has moments where it randomly forgets stuff randomly forgets details about what I was going to say. Or what I was talking about. Yeah. I have weird memory. That's why I know so much about gaming history and video games as a whole, and bugger all about everything else. Everyone has such problems. Yep. Nobody's perfect, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. With memories and words. Oh yeah, very much so. Again, I mentioned earlier about how I really need to learn to get my point across better and articulate my words and thoughts better. Well, if my brain spends too long trying to articulate them, I would have missed the current conversation topic by about 3 days. Which, yeah, happens. Anywho. I think I'm gonna think about wrapping up there for the day. Oh yeah, thank you for popping in, and thank you for the chat. It's actually been very much a light. It's been very enlightening. That's another word I can barely say. Oh yeah, so thank you for popping into the stream, everybody. And as always, I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day. Have a nice night. You too, Novum. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day as well. Everyone make sure to stay safe. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you tomorrow for Sonic X Shadow Generations. Alrighty. See you tomorrow, everybody. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And I'll see you lovely people tomorrow. Alrighty. Good night, everybody. Good night.